quick disclaimer from the title of this video. I'm obviously a therapist, so I very much support the practice of therapy and absolutely see value in it. I also see the value of having spirituality or religion as a pillar in your life. So before you come at me, this is not a blanket statement about either of those two things. This video is simply meant to find the people who have gotten caught up in the endless loop of not feeling good enough because therapy or spirituality haven't worked for you, because you don't necessarily feel better engaging with these things and sometimes even feel worse. And by worse, I mean feeling the shame that these things haven't healed you the way people say they're going to. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Brielle and I'm a licensed therapist. I've worked in the mental health field for years, and this channel is my way of creating community and kind of demystifying a lot of these topics surrounding healing and growth so that we can unpack them together and explore what it really means to just be deeply human. In today's video, we are going to dive into some of the reasons that therapy or spirituality could be keeping you stuck, which I know is kind of a controversial take. And I'm speaking on this because both of these scenarios have been my personal experience at times. I've absolutely spent years searching for some kind of spiritual awakening, only to realize that my happiness is 100% not reliant on any kind of awakening. And I've also gone to therapy for years about the same kinds of issues. And therapy has been so helpful at times, but at other times it has allowed me to become so attached to my ADHD diagnosis or my childhood experiences through repeating the same trauma narrative over and over again. And this is of no fault of any therapist. It's just a very easy trap to fall into. So I want to talk about and unpack some of the things that can happen in therapy that can keep you stuck. Therapy that centers around trauma narrative repetition can keep you stuck in that loop, because sometimes talking about it over and over again isn't the answer. And there absolutely are empowerment models in therapy, but the person going to therapy has to be willing to engage in those types of models. And if you're new to therapy and you just want to feel better, of course you're going to want to talk about it. And if you unpack your trauma in therapy, you likely are going to feel better short term. It probably will feel relieving in the moment, kind of like releasing pressure from a shaken soda can. It can feel like emotional catharsis, but when it's not paired with reflection, cognitive reframing, or behavioral changes, it can absolutely reinforce that emotional loop. It's like emotional catharsis without integration. Therapy can also sometimes create this pattern of endlessly chipping away and mining away at your pain and attaching a lot of your identity to that pain and that trauma. There can be such a thing as almost, I don't want to call it this, but the thing that's coming to mind is maybe even over-validation of trauma. It can almost feel like, yeah, you should feel that way with what you've been through, when it really should be, it makes sense that you feel that way with what you've been through, but you don't have to stay stuck there. And honestly, trauma bonding with your own narrative can feel like an addiction. If your trauma is the only place that you feel special or seen in, that's addicting. If you feel like your trauma is what makes you special, it isn't. It's a part of your story, and resilience can come out of that, but it's not the whole picture of who you are, not even a little bit. Another thing is that therapists are not necessarily trained to give advice. We're trained to be a safe space and to hold up a mirror for you so that you can do your own healing. But sometimes that can be to a fault. Because like I said earlier, if there's no reflection or cognitive reframing or behavioral changes, it's not going to help long term. Now kind of getting into some of the issues with spirituality. Spiritual bypassing is definitely a real thing. And this is an extremely nuanced topic. Nothing I say, or truly nothing anybody says, applies to every single person in every single situation. There are so many nuances to life. Nothing anyone says is just 100% truth for everybody. But in my opinion, a lot of the time in spiritual communities, people will tell you a certain spiritual practice is the key to healing. And then if you do that practice and you don't feel healed, there's a lot of shame associated with that. And it's because you're not taking the daily small action to create safety in your body and your life, and you're expecting one instance of a spiritual practice to completely fix things for you. I'm not saying that that doesn't exist. I'm not saying that miracles don't exist. I'm a very open-minded person, but I just want to help remove the shame if that has been your experience, because I know that has been my experience. Then this endless loop is created of constantly seeking out enlightenment or a spiritual awakening, and that can truly rob you of your life in the moment and cause you to overemphasize the need for some type of awakening to be happy or healed. So what do I think this is all about? I can speak from personal experience here when I say that a lot of this usually does stem from wanting to either feel in control of your life, safe in your life, or both. Two things that we all crave and are truly fundamental needs for humans are safety and belonging. And most of us will do anything in pursuit of that. So this video is all really to say, if you sometimes feel stuck between therapy can be too clinical or spirituality can be too performative, you're not alone and there is a community waiting for you. This video was an incredibly brief overview of how I feel about these things. I could talk for hours and hours about this topic. I have so many thoughts on this that are a culmination of my life experiences and my education to become a therapist. So if you guys want lives, Q&As, longer videos on topics like these, please let me know in the comments. I would also just love to hear your thoughts on this in general. And again, before you hate my spiritual people, my religious people, my therapy goers, my therapists, I love you all. This is a safe space for everyone and I have zero hate for any community. I'm just speaking on how things can be, my personal experiences, and hopefully that speaks to some of you as well. So thank you for being here with me and watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you liked watching this video. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see from me on this channel. Just thank you truly so much for spending your time with me, and I hope you have a beautiful day.